Hello people of YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen of YouTube, far too long back I had an issue with my bandsaw where I was using it. I made a short video about it. I'm using it and all of a sudden there was a loud like bang and pop and pieces started coming out of it. Turns out the top tire for the top part of the bandsaw shattered. It was so dry rotted and in such bad shape that it just shattered. It wasn't even flexible anymore. And it's been on my list of things to do, to put a new belt on it, and so that's what I'm going to do today. So I've got some more belts. I've had them for a while, and I just haven't had the time and the place. Time to get back to doing things here in the basement. And I have a project that I want to use the bandsaw for, so let's go put some new tires on it.
The first thing I did was run some hot water and put the new tires in them to warm up. I am told it makes stretching them easier. While that is soaking, I remove the top and bottom wheel from the bandsaw. I also took some time to dust things out since I had the bandsaw open and the wheels out. The bottom tire was still on but did not want to come off. The material was no longer stretchy, but instead crumbled and tore as I tried to remove it. Then it eventually broke and came off rather quickly. I then examined the wheels to see if there were any glue or anything still stuck inside. One at a time, I grabbed the tires from the warm water, shook off the water, and stretched them around the wheels. I used clamps to hold part of the tire on while I stretched around the other half. I then took a flathead screwdriver and slid it under the belt and ran it around the wheel several times to spread out and even out the stretch. I also ran my hand around the wheel to make sure everything was seated properly. With the new tires on, it was time to put everything back together.
So I've got the new tires on there, and I've got the blade on it. While it's still a little noisy, it's quieter than it was. It seems to be smoother. But at any rate, I've got the new belts on it, so that's or new tires on it, that's very exciting. I look forward to using it. However, there's one small problem. But before I address that, the tires were a lot easier to put on than I thought they would be. I was afraid they would be hard to stretch, and I would have a very difficult time getting them onto the tire. I read some how-tos and watched some videos myself, and took what accumulated knowledge I had and did it. It was very easy. It was very simple. I don't know that soaking it in hot water helped or not, but I did it and it worked well. I think possibly it did soften it up. I think it's also possible with a little bit of moisture it helped it to seat properly, because at first it seemed to be bulging on one side and stretched on the other, and that's why I ran the screwdriver around it to kind of even it out. And once I did that, it sat good. So I got the belts on there, and I set the tracking on it and got it to where I liked it, and decided to, since things had changed, I would readjust all of this. And a bad thing happened. This back piece, I don't even see the piece that goes inside of it, it fell. This back little tracking piece, the metal broke and it sheared right off. So this thing is apparently cursed. First, I believe the blade wasn't cutting very well. Okay, I got it used. I got a really good deal on it. I thought, I can tune this up and make it work, and if not, I'm not out much. So I replaced the blade. It wasn't cutting very well, and then the belt kept slipping. So I got a belt. The belt had a tear in it, and it kept slipping off. Got a belt. Got it working. Hooray, it was cutting better. It was running. It wasn't falling off. And then after a few times, one of the tires shattered. So I debated it. Okay, maybe it's time to put it down and get a new one. But I found tires fairly inexpensive, and I thought, okay, I'll throw a bit more money into it, and it'll be worth it. So I get the tires on. I'm very excited, and now this happens. So I think it's quite possibly time to let this thing go. It's a shame. It's a Ryobi. They make decent tools. This is apparently, from what I've seen, a very popular model. But it appears to be time to let it go and save my money up and buy something a little better, because this has never worked quite right. And I'm starting to see why. But at any rate, I got the tires on there. It was easy to do, so at least I've got that. I'd love to show how it cuts. Maybe I could cut, but I'm a little afraid of how much it'll wander without that piece on there. So if you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below. It's for the project that I wanted to do using the bandsaw. I might give it a shot on the scroll saw. We'll see, because I'd really like to get it done. It's not that complicated. I wanted to cut two pieces at once, which I figured would be better for the bandsaw than scroll saw, but that just might not be a possibility. So that's to be continued. But thank you for watching. Any questions or comments, leave them down below, and stay creative.